Now, what are the career prospects for lawyers? Let me just go straight to the point. Because the industry is also guided by laws, the treaties that are made at the international level where nations are signatories to are drafted by lawyers. So the first assignment for lawyers is that they have opportunities of working for international organizations where bilateral and multilateral agreements treaties are reached and signed to. So space lawyers have the opportunity of working with international organizations to draft international treaties and agreements among parties. Aside that, we have also said that even countries have their municipal laws that regulate space technology activities. For example, I made mention of the guidelines for satellite communication services in Nigeria. So the legislature is therefore an important organ of government that must of necessity participate in the process of entrenching the space law practice and technology in the country. So the lawyers who are versed in space law will have the opportunity to also work with the legislature in drafting and passing legislations that are supposed to regulate space business within the country. This includes both municipal laws and even in the case of domesticating treaties. You know, for example, under the Nigerian law, Section 12 of the Constitution, every treaty that is entered into by the country at the international level has to be domesticated by way of passage into law by the Nigerian Parliament before that law can be binding and regarded as force of law. Lawyers who are versed in space law can serve as legal advisors to government departments, agencies of government that are charged with the management of with respect to multilateral and bilateral agreements on space matters. Because even among companies, private individuals, they require lawyers who will assist them to ensure compliance. Lawyers can also assist government organizations in negotiating domestic and international agreements on space-based activities. Negotiation is an important tool of commercial transactions, and negotiations must of necessity have some legal content. A negotiator must have a vast experience in the law of negotiation and in the law on the subject matter to be able to get good deal for their respective clients or their respective employees. Space lawyers can also help government entities and even private individuals, private companies engaging in space exploration to comply with existing laws, treaties, agreements, and other regulations. Now, I made mention of the fact that in Nigeria today, there are guidelines set out for participating in providing satellite-based communication services. So if a company is coming into Nigeria, like most of these multinational companies, before any new company can come into Nigeria for purposes of investing in satellite-based communications services, it must comply with certain basic requirements, which have been set out by NCC. And so private legal practitioners can be of huge and immense assistance in guiding such companies. Space lawyers engage in a great deal of policy making, and they might spend the bulk of their time drafting proposals and advocating for certain policies. So space lawyers must also understand enough science to be able to give their clients educated services. So lawyers must of necessity also acquaint themselves with enough scientific knowledge about the workings of space technology generally for them to be able to apply the laws, apply the principles, apply the various regulations, and be able to advise candidly and efficiently on space technology for their clients or for their employees. And space lawyers who are versed in international arbitration and other ADRO mechanisms must also assist their client in settlement of disputes. So it is also important that space lawyers avail themselves with enough knowledge of the alternative dispute resolution mechanism, because it is usually the fastest way of resolving international commercial disputes, so that when they do represent their companies or their countries, they are in a position to assist in resolving such crises. So those space lawyers with interest in space law can serve in a variety of capacities within government and private organizations as in-house legal advisors and company secretaries, as policy advisors, as program development experts, even as marketing and business development experts. Space lawyers can find various administrative and policy jobs at various international institutions and organizations, such as the United Nations Office on Space Affairs, for example, the Armed Forces. I mean, it may interest you to know that in Nigeria, we have the Directorate of Space Administration within the Nigeria Armed Forces. It is sited close to NASDA and NICOMSAT, in Abuja. It's a very big agency of government that is concentrating on using the space technology as a means of combating internal and external aggression, such as the Nigerian Communication Satellite, which is a regulatory agency in Nigeria. Such international organizations, private companies involved in satellite communication services are so many. Space lawyers may decide to venture into private legal practice, where they have to work closely with their clients, the courts, and of course, the legal professionals. They can also consult to write new laws, research the impact of existing laws, and argue cases in court on behalf of their client or cases at arbitration. In private practice, they meet with clients who are usually and typically companies and national space agencies. So these are a few of the opportunities that lies ahead for those who choose to go the way of space technology and space by studying space law.